Hey YouTubers, welcome to the Cyber Overwatch channel. I am Pragmatic One. In this video, I will be doing a walkthrough of TryHackMe's Mr. Robot Vulnerable Host, inspired by the TV series of the same name. This is a beginner to intermediate level room, and it's one of the most iconic machines on the platform, so let's get into it. In this walkthrough, I'll cover the complete attack lifecycle: reconnaissance, enumeration, exploitation, and post-exploitation. Specifically, I'll perform port scanning, web content discovery, WordPress enumeration, reverse shell deployment, and privilege escalation via a SUID binary. If you find this content informative and you are interested in cybersecurity, please like and subscribe to the Cyber Overwatch channel. Also, for more free content, don't forget to drop by www.cyberoverwatch.com, listed in the description. As noted earlier, Mr. Robot is a vulnerable host created by TryHackMe, themed around the television series Mr. Robot. It's designed to simulate a realistic web application compromise and teaches several fundamental penetration testing techniques. Let's break down the attack surface using the MITRE ATT&CK framework. T1595.002 Active Scanning. Vulnerability Scanning. Nmap is used to identify open ports and running services, mapping the attack surface of the target host. T1190 Exploit Public Facing Application. A publicly exposed WordPress installation with weak credentials provides the initial foothold into the system. T1078 Valid Accounts. Credentials discovered through enumeration and brute force are used to authenticate to the WordPress admin panel. T1059.007 Command and Scripting Interpreter. JavaScript/PHP. A malicious PHP reverse shell is injected into the WordPress theme editor to achieve remote code execution on the underlying server. T1548.001 Abuse Elevation Control Mechanism. Set UID and set GID. A misconfigured SUID bit on the Nmap binary is abused to escalate privileges from a low-privileged user to root. The Mr. Robot vulnerable host has been deployed and assigned an IP address visible on the TryHackMe dashboard. As always, the first phase of any penetration test is reconnaissance. The goal here is to identify what services are running, what versions they're on, and where potential weaknesses exist. I'll kick things off with an Nmap scan using the following command shown in the CLI. I've covered these flags in detail in previous videos, so I'll keep it brief here. Feel free to check out the other videos if you want a deeper breakdown. The scan completes and I have some useful results. 3 ports are identified: port 22 SSH, port 80 HTTP, port 443 HTTPS. Port 80 will be our initial point of enumeration. Let's check it out. Navigating to the target IP in the browser loads an interactive terminal-style web page themed around Mr. Robot the TV show. Once the web page completely loads, I'm brought to a terminal prompt root at of society. There are 6 commands I can run. They all display different aspects of the TV show Mr. Robot. It's visually interesting but does not appear to offer anything actionable from an attacker's perspective. It's mostly aesthetic. Looking at the page source, there is not really much to work with. There is a message stating you are not alone, but again, nothing useful from an attacker's perspective. I already performed a review of the page source and did not find anything interesting. I'll run the following fuff command shown in the CLI to fuzz the site to see if I could discover any hidden files or folders. At the fuff output, I can see some pages to investigate further, like WP content, admin, WP login, and robots. One thing that stands out is that WordPress appears to be running on the host. I navigated to the admin page and the WP content page, but there was nothing useful. When I navigated to the WP login page, that confirmed that WordPress was running on this host. WordPress is an open source content management system, or CMS, originally designed for blogging but now powering roughly 40% of all websites on the internet. Here's a quick breakdown. Core functionality. WordPress allows users to build and manage websites through a web-based interface without needing to write code. It manages pages, posts, media, and user accounts through a MySQL database backend. Architecture. It runs on PHP and Apache or Nginx. The admin panel, located at /wp-admin or /wp-login.php, is the primary management interface and a common attack target. Attack surface. From a penetration testing perspective, WordPress is interesting because it exposes a predictable login page, supports user enumeration through certain endpoints, and historically has had numerous vulnerabilities in both the core application and third-party plugins. Once admin access is obtained, the theme editor provides a mechanism to execute arbitrary PHP code on the server. WP Scan identifies several items including the robots.txt file, just like Fuff did. It detected that the WordPress theme 2015 is out of date. It also notes the version of of WordPress as 4.3.1. Unfortunately, there is not much to go on at this time, so I will continue manual enumeration of the web pages. The next page I will manually review is robots. When I navigated to the robots page, there seemed to be a dictionary file called F-Society and a text file called key1of3text. When I navigated to the host IP/key1of3text, it displayed what appears to be a hash. As of this moment, I have reviewed several pages. The next page I reviewed was the /license page. The only thing this page appeared to have was a message, but when I analyzed the page with developer tools, I could see what appears to be a base64 hash. The obvious next thing to do would be to decode what appears to be a base64 hash. I copied and pasted the hash to the CLI, and I'll run the following base64 command. After running the base64 command, it appeared to decode the hash and it shows what may be credentials. Before I go further with web server enumeration, I figured now would be a good chance to test if what appears to be credentials are valid. I'll enter them in the WordPress login page. It looks like those were valid credentials. I was able to log in to the WordPress site and it shows me logged in as Elliot Alderson. WordPress is known for having a lot of security weaknesses. Now that I have admin access to WordPress, let me verify whether a technique known for achieving remote code execution exists on this deployment of WordPress. I basically would just need to inject a PHP reverse shell into one of the theme templates using the built-in theme editor. To investigate, I just navigate to Editor under Appearance. This brings me to the theme editor where I can modify the themes currently used in WordPress. Once on the editor pane, I can see the contents of the 2015 page. On the right hand side of the editor, I can see the 404.php page. I just need to replace the contents of the 404.php template with my PHP reverse shell. I'll grab a PHP reverse shell from Pentest Monkey's GitHub repository, which has always been reliable for me. Before I can use the script, I just need to update the IP address in the shell code to point to my attack system and set the listener port. With that set, I can now save it. Before triggering the shell, I need to set up my netcat listener on my system to catch the incoming connection. I ran the following netcat command shown in the CLI. Now that I have my netcat listener running, let me copy the script so I can paste it in the theme editor's 404.php page. I'm back to WordPress theme editor, and now I need to paste the PHP reverse shell in the 404 template. I just need to trigger the reverse shell by navigating to a non-existent page on the WordPress site, which should invoke the 404.php template and execute my injected code. I tried to navigate to the target IP/cyber overwatch, which I know does not exist. I get an error message that the page cannot be found, which is to be expected. Switching back to my netcat terminal, I can see that my netcat listener caught a shell from the vulnerable host. When I run the whoami command, the shell returns daemon, a low privilege service account. Now that I have a foothold, I need to escalate my privileges. First, I need to stabilize my shell. I'll run the Python command shown in the CLI. With my shell stabilized, I can now move on to enumerating the home directory. I ran the following ls command shown in the CLI, and it reveals a username robot and Ubuntu. I ran the following ls command to see if I can look inside the robot directory. Based on the output, it looks like there is a second flag titled key2of3.txt. I found the first one earlier in the robots.txt file. There is another file called password.raw-md5 that looks interesting. Inside the /home/robot folder, I can see the two files. I attempted to cat the key2of3text file, but I got permission denied because only the robot user has permissions to read the file. I then attempted to cat the password.raw-md5 file. The file contains what appears to be a username and an MD5 hash. MD5 is a weak hashing algorithm and is commonly crackable using rainbow tables and online tools. I decided to attempt to crack the hash on an online MD5 cracking database. CrackStation is a reliable source for this. Running the hash through CrackStation returns a plain text result almost immediately. MD5 without salting offers virtually no protection against this type of lookup attack. The password appears to have been cracked, but I need to validate it. I need to try to authenticate to the target host. I'll SSH to the target host and attempt to authenticate with the robot user account. I get prompted for a password, and I'll enter the password provided by CrackStation. After providing the cracked password, authentication was successful. I'm now operating as the robot user, and this is validated by running the whoami command. I ran the following Python command to stabilize the shell. I ran the following command shown in the CLI to change directories to the robot folder and view the contents. I ran the cat command to view the hash for the second flag. I'll run the following command shown in the CLI. The final objective is to escalate to root and capture the third flag. A reliable technique for identifying privilege escalation vectors is searching for binaries with SUID bit set. When the binary has the SUID bit set, it executes with the permissions of the file owner, oftentimes root, rather than the user running it. The output lists several suid binaries. One immediately stands out: user/local/bin/nmap. Nmap with a suid bit is a well-known privilege escalation vector, particularly in older versions that include an interactive mode. A quick aside on suid escalation. In Linux, file permissions include a special flag called the set user ID bit, or suid. When this is set on an executable, the program runs with the privileges of the file's owner, even if a different user launches it. If a binary owned by root has a suid bit set, and the binary can be used to spawn a shell or execute arbitrary commands, an attacker can use it to gain a root shell. This is a common misconfiguration finding in penetration tests and CTF challenges. GTFO bins is an excellent public reference that catalogs which binaries can be abused in this way and how. Nmap versions 2.02 through 5.21 include an interactive mode that allows users to execute shell commands directly within Nmap. I'll run the following nmap command shown in the CLI to confirm the version first. The version of Nmap installed is within the vulnerable range. I'll launch Nmap in interactive mode and spawn a root shell. Once inside the interactive prompt, I'll just run the following command. After running the command in the Nmap interactive prompt, I got a new prompt that says root and a hash, which is usually an indication that I am root. To verify that I am root, I ran the toolmy command and the shell returned root. This indicates that privilege escalation is complete. I ran the command shown in the CLI to change directories to the root home directory and view the contents. Based on the output, I can see the third and final flag, key3of3.txt. I ran the cat command to view the hash in key3of3.txt. The third and final flag is captured, all three keys have been collected, and the machine is fully compromised. And with that, I have completed this host. Thank you for also checking out the Cyber Overwatch channel. If you find this content informative and you are interested in cybersecurity, please like and subscribe to the Cyber Overwatch channel. Drop any questions in the comments or reach out through the Cyber Overwatch website linked in the description. Until next time, keep learning. The only way to improve is to keep learning. Pragmatic1, signing off.